take it slow. Just wanna let you know. Ready to spend some time.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. If today is your first time here, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and also share with your friends and loved ones that will be needing this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. In today's video, I'll be telling you my birth story. Like, this story is very personal to me, and I felt it's wise to share with some people because I also learned from people sharing their stories. It was something that I watched and listened to some other person. It helped me know a few things during my pregnancy. So I would like to share this with someone that will be needing this, and I hope that you learn one or two things from my story. So let's get right into this video. I would not like to bore you, and I would like to make this short and simple so that you can get one or two things. If you've watched my previous videos, I said I came to Canada just a few days and then I had my baby. We're still in between settling down and all of that. And on Monday, the 23rd of May, around 3 a.m. in the morning, I felt the urge to pee. When I was pregnant, I had read a lot about what to expect when you're about to give birth and how to go about your pregnancy during that time to expect labor. Because I knew I was already getting closer to having my baby. I was peeing and this pee was not stopping. Like, it kept on rushing. So in my head, I'd read about this. I already knew the next step. The next step was like, baby was coming very soon. I woke my husband up and he was like, what do we do? I said, I don't know. And he was like, let us just chill till morning. So 3 a.m, my water broke. My husband was like, sleep back, and in the morning we'll figure out something to do about it, because we had just landed. We didn't know how to go about the hospital and all of that. So before I slept, I sent a message to a friend that I met on our pregnancy group and told her my water broke and I don't know what to do. I'm sleeping when you get this message, because I didn't expect her to reply around 3 a.m. When you get this message, please let me know what to do. So I slept. My husband sat down and was watching over me. Both of us were rookies. We didn't know anything. So I woke up to this lady's call and she told me, please start going to the hospital. I woke up, told my husband, my friend said this, I should go to the hospital. She gave me the hospital's name, and then hurriedly we just packed a bag. Like, we had not packed anything for the baby yet. So I brought out the box. I already had some things that I brought all the way from Nigeria. So I packed all of those things into the box. My husband packed the little things we could. I hurriedly had my bath. And then the family we're staying with told us, eat something. So I think I ate bread and tea and that. And I used a pad. Like, I used pad to stop the water from flowing all over, because it was still, like, I was still having that water rush. My water was still dropping. And we booked an Uber and went to the hospital. We went to the maternity section. This lady had already told me what I'm supposed to do. So on getting there, they asked me, do I have my health card? I said no, but I have the health number. So they checked me in. They first checked my weight, my blood pressure, checked everything that needed to be checked before they put me in a room. After putting me in a room, they had to be sure that my water had actually broken. So they asked me to change into the hospital clothes. Then they checked for my water if it had broken, checked my stomach, checked everything. And then they told me my water had broken and I wouldn't be allowed to go back home. So they admitted us, myself and my husband, and they put me in a room. So in this room, they had me lay on a bed, and then they tied this yellow stuff to my stomach. They told me it was to check the baby's heart rate to be sure that everything was fine. So when they admitted me at this point, it was next to the labor room to see how my labor will progress. So at this point, after they admitted me, they asked me questions about my birth plan. Mind you, I had not used the hospital before. I don't know anything about the hospital. I don't have my hospital my hospital records. I don't have anything with me. So they tried to do all of their checks, at the same time asked me for my birth plan, like what would you like us to give you. They asked me, do you want epidural? Like this question, this person that told me to go to the hospital had already told me, if they give you epidural, if they ask you for epidural, just take it fast. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not feeling pains, because I went to the hospital. You know how, if you're from Nigeria, you know how Nollywood will show you somebody that is pregnant, and then 10 to 15 minutes after, the doctor comes out to say, oh, your baby is here, you had a baby girl, you had a baby boy. In my head, that was how labor felt like. Yeah, I had read people's stories, I had listened to people, but I just still felt it was going to be quite easy. I already prayed for ease, so I just felt it wasn't going to be so serious. So I told the doctor, I don't want any epidural, I'm fine. And they left me. So I got admitted properly now and moved to the labor ward. So in the labor ward, you have all of the things that you need to give birth to your baby, and at the same time your baby's bed and all of that. So they asked me at that point, have I eaten? I said yes, I had eaten. And then this nurse came back to say, I still want you to eat something. I didn't know what she was talking about until she said, oh, because this is going to be your last meal. Last meal in the sense that in case my labor doesn't progress and they have to do an emergency CS, so I won't have anything in my stomach, that's one. Also, to avoid me throwing up all over the place, they decided that let me give you the last meal for now, so you will not end up asking us for food for the journey ahead. So she brought this toast. I had this toast. She brought me juice. I took the juice, and then this was the point where they laid me on the bed. And we're checked in around 9 a.m. in the morning on the 23rd of May. We're checked in, and we kept on staying there. Around 10 o'clock, a doctor came and said, so we are going to induce you because your water had broken and you're not dilating. So inducing me will mean to fasten the labor to make sure that the baby comes as soon as possible. And they did that. They pulled me on drip. At the same time, they were checking my blood pressure on the other hand. At the same time, they were also checking my baby's heartbeat to be sure that everything was fine with me and also the baby. They put in this induction IV, and that was going on. And they told me they will come to check me every time that they needed me to be checked. All this while, I had a doctor and a nurse assigned to me to be sure that everything was okay. My husband was also with me, and the whole thing started. So from around 9 a.m. till around 12 p.m., like 12 noon in the afternoon, the doctor came and was like, okay, so can we check now to see how far you've progressed? And I'm like, okay, no problem. And then they checked and they were like, you're like 1 centimeter dilated. From 9 a.m. It was like a joke. Like, I didn't know it was that serious. Now this time I had started contracting, and these contractions were painful. But it hadn't gotten to the point where I would say, oh, I really was feeling so much pain. I was in pain, but it wasn't intense. And at this point, I already called my sister, I had called my mom, I had called pretty much my family members to tell them, oh, we're going to the hospital, we're going to give birth soon and all of that. Like the way I used to know that, oh, someone just walks into the hospital and 10-15 minutes later they're out. That was what I thought. Now my family has started mounting pressure on my husband. They started making calls, how far has the baby come, and all of that. Now this is putting pressure on my husband, putting pressure on me, like what is going on? This baby is not yet out. But we're there. From 9 a.m. till 12, nothing. From 12 o'clock till around 4 p.m. in the evening, the doctor came and they checked again, and this time around I just moved a bit, like 2 centimeters dilated. This is when I knew that I am in big trouble. Like, it just dawned on me that it was going to be a long night. It was at this point I started asking for the epidural because I was in so much pain. The baby wasn't coming, 2 centimeters dilation, and I'm feeling this much pain. What am I going to expect when I get to 10 centimeters that I'm actually looking forward to? So I told the nurse, please, I need this epidural right now. And the nurse told me, oh, the anesthesiologist is not available right now. They went into a surgery and it will take a while. Like, I was not in a good shape at all. I was crying. I was just in so much pain. Like, I was all over the place. And she tells me, okay, there's something called gas and air. Would you like gas and air? And this one would calm you down. And she gave me this gas and air. This thing is crazy. It's more like you're high. Like, you just put this pump, you start pumping and start sucking the air, and this air makes you feel hazy, like you are on top of the world. It's not like it takes the pain off, it just takes the edge off the pain. You'll still be in pain, but you're like feeling some other, I don't know. It was just not for me. I felt like throwing up. I felt like I was just in mixed situations. He had a serious reaction on me. I wasn't just okay with it. And I told the nurse, I don't want this anymore. Please just get me the epidural. And they told me to be patient. I was there from 4 p.m. Kept on waiting. And maybe like after 2 hours, this anesthesiologist came and finally wanted to give me the epidural. But at this point in time, the contractions were very much closer. Like, I was having contractions like almost every 7 to 10 minutes. And this doctor tells me, oh, so this is how you're going to take the epidural. I'm supposed to bend my back this way. I held onto a pillow. My husband was holding me by this hand because I was in pain. Like, I was contracting and I was bending. So you can imagine, I was in pains of contraction and you're trying to stick a needle behind me. Not even at my back, at my spine at the back. So I was bent this way, holding my husband. I was holding the pillow and the nurse was holding me at this other side while the doctor was here. It was crazy. And this anesthesiologist started poking needles at my back. And for like 5 minutes, I think more than 5 minutes, I was crying and she was still there. And then I had to ask, what is going on? Are we not done? And she says, oh, she can't find my veins. It was not funny at this point. She was saying she can't find my veins and she has to keep trying. And I kept on saying, yes, keep trying, because I don't want to have to go through this pain and not get this epidural. So keep trying. And she kept on trying. I was holding the pain. I was crying. I wish I had a video for this, but at this point, nobody was bothering about taking a video. I was in pain. I was crying. Like I was being whipped. And this doctor had to say, oh, I can't get to see your veins. I think I would need an ultrasound. So she goes to get the ultrasound machine and then she tries to locate my veins with the ultrasound and marked the point where my veins were before she now poked in the needle. But by this time, she had already poked me like 5 times just to find the veins before she eventually put in this epidural. And then she gave me a button and told me anytime I feel more pain, I should just keep pressing, that I should press more into my system or more. And she gave me this thing, I just kept pressing because I was still in so much pain. After like 15 minutes, the epidural set in and I couldn't feel my legs. Like I was numb from here, from my stomach down to my legs, and I felt so much better. So for me, I was like, why did I not take this thing at the onset? Why did I just deprive myself of the ease I would have felt from, like they asked me from the beginning, do you want an epidural? That would have given me so much ease and comfort. But I said no. That's because I already read from some places that, oh, epidural has a negative side. I'm not saying for people, they've not seen the negative side. But for me, if somebody would ask me now that, would you have taken that epidural before your labor started? Yes, 100 times yes. I would have taken it since. And if I'm to give birth every time and take an epidural, yes, I am team epidural because it gave me so much comfort. I was able to sleep. I was not even bothering whether I was contracting or not because I wasn't feeling it after taking the epidural. I could only read it from the machine. And from that time on, I slept through waiting up till I got to 10 centimeters, which I did not get to until the next day. So you can imagine if I did not have an epidural. I took the epidural around 7 o'clock in the evening, and I had my baby the next day, 2 p.m. So you can imagine how many hours. I was in labor for almost 29 hours. And if I didn't take an epidural, I would have been there in pain. So if I could relieve myself of some pain, why not? If not, science has made life better and I would take it. So if you're looking for someone to tell you, oh, should you take an epidural? Yes, please do. For somebody who got poked 5 times behind, right now I don't have any pains. My baby is 9 months now and I feel so much good. Yes, after a few weeks, I had pains. I felt some pains and somebody had to help me massage my back for a while. And then it took me like maybe 2 to 3 weeks to heal up from that pain, especially when I bend down. But now I'm fine. I don't have any pains from epidural. Some people say they do, but then coming from somebody who got a back poked 5 times, I am fine. So we continued waiting for my baby. It didn't come 7 p.m. until the next day. And the next day around 12 noon, this doctor came in and the doctor was like, you've been here for a while. In between waiting for my baby, I was tired, I was thirsty, I was done. In fact, at some point I told them, if this baby doesn't want to come, please, we can go through a cesarean section, because imagine having to go through labor from 9 a.m. of the previous day, and we're already in the next day, 24th of May, a Tuesday, and my baby was not yet here. So for me, I was tired and I asked for food because I was tired, I was hungry. Every time I asked for food, they kept telling me, no, we can't give you anything. And doctors keep changing shifts on me. Nurses kept changing shift on me. And I was done. If I asked for food, they would say, we can only give you ice cubes. So even that, they didn't want to give me water. They didn't want to give me anything. Because at some point after taking the water, I threw up. So they tried to avoid not giving me anything to eat. So I was still there till 12 noon. And 12 noon, this doctor, I don't know, just changed shift. And then she came in and was like, oh, how are you feeling? And I told her, I am tired. I am done. I just need to take rest. Then she said, okay, can I check you? She checked and then she was like, oh, we're already above 9 centimeters. And this gave me much strength. Like, oh, we're almost there. This baby was coming. At some point I was begging my baby. I was like, please just come, Fury, just come, because I was already at my breaking point. And this doctor encouraged me and said, okay, we're going to see this through. I should just wait for the next few minutes. If the baby doesn't come in the next few minutes, she's going to take me in for the surgery. And she comes back like after like 15 minutes and checked me again, and she was like, yes, we're good to push. Then she told me she had some things to do for someone else, but the nurse should help me start pushing. And then we started pushing from past 12. We kept on pushing past 1. This boy was not here. My husband would say, oh, we're seeing the egg.
Ready?
Push.
In, out, let's go.
Hard. Good job. Right into your bum. Right into your bum.
Relax your
Good
leg,
job.
relax your leg.
Good job.
Let's go. 1,
Good job.
2, 3, 4,
And again.
5, 6, 7, let's go. 8, 9, 10.
Good job.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Oh.
Again. Oh, that's good again. Good job.
Oh, God.
Yeah, almost there. Almost there.
I still have contractions, but I need to rest.
Okay. Rest. You can rest. Rest.
Oh, God.
It's okay.
I see that.
Not yet. It's not out yet.
Oh, God.
Don't worry.
You're doing good.
You're doing
You're
great.
doing great. I know this is the worst part.
The nurse will say, yes, you're doing good, you're doing great, turn this way, turn that way. None of those things they were saying was helping. I was just trying to push through because I was really tired. Like 24 hours and I'm still here. And then we kept on pushing and pushing. And I was just tired. I was like, I'm done. And the doctor came back and said, oh lady, you know the way they talk, these doctors, they encourage you through everything. And she was like, you've tried, you've done great, well done my love. At some point there, when they say this, well done my love, before my contractions really started properly, I'll be like, who's this person's love now? But when the contractions were intense and they were saying well done my love, I understood why they were giving me so much accolades, because me myself, I knew that I was doing a great job. So she told me, you've been pushing for a while and I think I should help you. And she was like, I've seen this, your baby's head, and what I'll try to do for you is I would use a vacuum extractor. Now, I had heard about this vacuum extractor before because obviously you're pregnant, you need to read everything readable. So I already read about it, but I wasn't sure if it will have a side effect on my baby. So I asked, you want to help me, I understand that, but this vacuum extractor, is it going to affect my baby in any way? Because I can't go through all of this stress for nothing and then my baby comes out and something is wrong. Then she explained to me and said no, that the only defect is your baby might have sore on his head when he is born, but after like a day or two the sore will clear off. And I just told my baby, we are going to take this suffering together because I've been here laboring for you for more than 24 hours, so you need to come right now and you're also going to take a share of my pain. And she said, you just need to give me 2 to 3 more pushes. Mind you, if I didn't succumb to this vacuum extractor thingy, I will still be there for the next maybe an hour like she told me. So I said, no problem, we'll use this vacuum extractor. So she says, when you get contractions, you just need to push very hard and then we'll get this baby out. And then I pushed like my life depended on it. So I pushed and she used this. Mind you, I couldn't feel a thing because of the epidural. So I pushed as hard as I could and this baby came out. And when my baby came out, I was just crying because I was like, this boy, you have stressed me. You have stressed my life. Like, it came out, it was perfect. It was like all my 9 months labor, because I didn't have pregnancy like all breeze. It was from one thing or another. So all I labored for like 9 months finally came out. And I kept on crying. Like, I didn't know why I was crying, but I was just overwhelmed. I was tired, I was hungry, and I was just crying. And they asked my husband to cut the cord. He cut the cord. After cutting the cord, the placenta came out. She showed me the placenta, but I wasn't even interested because what's a placenta and a baby? They just showed me and then they took it away. They cleaned up my baby, placed him on my chest. I wasn't even in that moment of feeling the baby yet because I was in pain, I was tired. I was just like, after everything, this is it. So they told me they were now trying to sew me back up because I had tear, a first degree tear. By this time, I was still not feeling a thing because epidural had numbed me from my stomach down to my legs. So the doctor told me they were going to give me an injection, then they will sew it up. And they did, and I didn't feel it. And after like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, they cleaned me up, checked the baby, checked everything to be sure that it was okay. And really, it was perfect. Then they did every of their cleaning up, asked me to pee, and to be sure that I was fine after the whole thing, which I did. And then finally, they wheeled us to the postpartum room. So there's a labor room and then there's a postpartum room where you heal up. So they took me to the postpartum room, gave me all my drugs, tried to check me. Like, they came, pressed my stomach to be sure that everything was fine, no internal bleedings, and checked if my tears were okay and every other thing. Checked my baby and settled us into that postpartum room. It was from that postpartum room we stayed for 2 days. While we were at the postpartum room, there were some tests they had to conduct on me and also on my baby. For my baby, they had to make sure that he pooed, he peed, and then they checked for his hearing. They did hearing tests, they did sensitivity tests, they did sight tests, all of these tests before you'll be discharged. If something is wrong, they will have to fix any of those things before you are discharged from the hospital. So it took us like 2 days to stay in the hospital because my baby didn't poo on time. Yeah, he peed, but he didn't poo on time. So we had to wait that whole 2 days to be sure that everything was fine before they eventually discharged us. So they do their own checks, like they make sure everything checks out before you actually now check out of the hospital. I gave birth to my baby at 39 weeks, exactly 39 weeks. So they wanted to be sure that everything was fine. They fed myself and my husband, gave us breakfast, lunch, dinner, and just make sure we're fine. And they gave me drugs. Like in the hospital, they were giving me painkillers because after this epidural wore off, it was a lot. I now started feeling the pain. The tear was painful. It was I don't know how to describe it, but I was in a lot of pain. Like 1st degree tear. It was a lot. So they kept on giving me painkillers every 6 hours, and they were giving me this drug to make me poo, a stool softener. They pour it inside my water, any water I was supposed to take. They pour it into this water and then they give me to drink. And for 2 days that was going on and on and off and on and off till finally we left the hospital. But before we left the hospital, there's something that I would really like to share with somebody. So after I gave birth to my baby, I wasn't so much as bonding with my baby. In fact, me, that I had no idea, nothing about, I didn't know anything about a baby. So for me, it was like, okay, this boy has come. What else am I supposed to do? I asked questions. I didn't know how to change a diaper. And I had to watch the nurses do it, watch my husband do it. Like, I'm just grateful that I had help. So I would say to somebody that you're as clueless as I am. I didn't have first hand with any baby before mine. Ask questions. Don't be shy. Nobody's going to tell you you don't know how to do this. Even if they insult you, it's your baby. So ask questions. My husband did most of the hands-on things before I learned how to do it. Even after giving birth to him, I was overwhelmed. So I wasn't even in the space of, you know how some people see their babies and they'll be like, oh, my child. Then they are so joyous. No. It didn't come easy like that for me. I had to first sleep. I took like my own sleep. My husband was with the baby. And after sleeping and feeling well rested, before I now carried him, I'm like, okay, come, let's bond. So it's not everybody that the baby bonding comes easy to. It's not everybody that baby's caring comes easy to. There were a lot of things that went into the whole 9 months and all of that. So if you are in this point in time, or you are in this space and you feel like, oh, you are guilt tripping yourself for doing something, now we're good. Our bodies is 9 months old now and is always for his mommy. So don't judge yourself for not being bonding as soon as possible, or judge yourself for, oh, you don't know how to cater to a baby. Everything will come. Just give yourself time. Be patient with yourself. Same with the labor and all of that. Yes, pray and tell God to take control. Because at the end of the day, anything could have happened. But even if we stayed that long to give birth to him, God still came through. God saw us through the whole process. And he made sure that after, everything came easy also. So I will be saying to somebody who is watching this video, you are pregnant, or you are expecting, or you're praying for this kind of thing. You also want to give birth soon. You're expecting your baby, or you are about to go deliver your baby. God will come through for you in any season that you are right now. God is going to come through for you. God will help you deliver your baby safely. And remember that no two birth stories are the same. Everybody have it differently. Your case might be that you get to the hospital and you give birth in 10 minutes. Yeah, I've heard people's stories like that they give birth in 10 minutes. You don't have to wait up to like 30 hours like I did. So just pray for ease, pray for God's guidance, pray for God's control, and I'm sure that it would come through for you. So we're 9 months after this whole birth thing, and we're doing great to the glory of God. So if you've watched this video up to this point, you've learned 1 or 2 things, please don't forget to share with somebody that you think will need this. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment whatever thing you want to ask me. If you would have some questions, or you have some other things you'd like to share with somebody who is watching this video and still needs your opinion, please put them down in the comment section. I think that's all about it, and there is more. There are so many other things that happened after I got back home with my baby, especially without having support. So if you would like to see that video and many other videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Way to 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.